Hey, how's it going? And today I'm going to show you how to create this just a image manipulation, or you can call it a surface expression or expressive material, but there's actually no 3D object involved, and it creates the illusion of a spinning fan. So I would imagine the advantage of this is that you could put this in the background somewhere, and then it's not putting too much overhead on your system, and you could create a bunch of animated things like this. So anyway, I'm going to just clear the scene and start from scratch. There's a few steps involved, but I'll try to go as fast as possible. I was actually inspired to do this by something I saw in Unreal Engine. So I've got layout up. I'm just going to jump into Modeler. I'm going to clear this out, starting from scratch. What I have here is I have this image of just this fan, is these fan blades right here. And you can see this is a static mesh that was out of Unreal Engine. And all I'm going to do in here is I'm just going to hit F2 and just make sure that I'm centered and I'm on the origin. And this is actually pointing down the Z plus, so we're kind of looking at it from behind, but that's fine. And I'm just going to go save object as. I've done this a few times already. Box 3 and 34. How about that? And then I'm just going to send this over to layout. And interestingly, all we're doing with this is we're just going to take a picture of it. That's all we're doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come around the back side of this object, and I'm going to just try to line up as best as I can with like looking straight down the barrel of the gun. Kind of. Just as best as I can here. Let me see if I'm on the camera. Can I? There we go. So, okay. And then what I can do is I'm just to kind of make sure that I'm targeting it the best I can. There we go. Is hit M, and then I'll just go target item is the box itself, kind of to lock that in. So I square up with it. I've learned from experience is that I want to increase my properties here on the width. So let's do 2000 by 2000. So we have a nice big background kind of there. I think that's what we want. Yeah, that should be good enough. We can play with that later. So then what I can do is just go into the surface editor, and I'm just going to change this into a nice material. I can leave that. I'm just going to give it a color. So let's just make it blue this time, just so that it, it's kind of nice looking. And then I can match my camera perspective. This is very important. I match my camera perspective. And remember, I'm just taking a picture of this. That's all I'm doing. And then I'm going to go into, I can go into VPR here. Oops, not camera. I can go into camera with that. Go into VPR. And I can leave the background up. That's fine. And then all I have to do is just go into render properties. And the output, I'll click there. Like sometimes it does it. You got to reset it. So I'm just going to put these on my desktop. Select the folder. And then all we have to do is we're going to render this out as a PNG 32. That's what we're going to do. And then I'm just going to go render frame. And there that is. And of course it's going to be lit with the color of the background. And there's some shading on there already. But we're going to go continue. And I'm going to file, save as. And I can just save this as a JPEG now. And I'm just going to call this fan Y, because I've already done an experiment to make sure this works. And then if you click up here on the A, I can save out just the alpha channel. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to just save that out as a JPEG too. And I'll call this fan underscore Y underscore alpha. Oops. Alpha. And we'll go ahead and save that. This is half the battle. So we're halfway done just saving out these two images. Okay. So then we're done and we can just clear the scene. We just needed those two images. Now I'm going to jump back into Modeler and I'm going to close this out. And now this is the second most important part, is that we need a perfectly centered plane on which to project our image. So I'm going to create a box here and click and drag. Then come down to numeric, and I'm just going to go 1 tab 1, just a 1 by 1 meter, and this has to be perfectly centered. 0, perfectly on the origin, and then we're done with that. And I can close this and drop the tool, and I'm going to save object as, and I'll just call this ground plane to save, and then we're just going to send this to layout, and then there's a ground plane. So then what we can do is, now we're just getting ready to do our image manipulation here, or surface expression, animated material, I guess you could call this a surface animation, surface animated material. Okay, and I can kind of zoom in here. We'll see. I can adjust this later, and I'm just trying to line myself up a little bit here. Get my perspective. Okay, that's good enough. We have room to play with, I think, here. And this can all be adjusted to this color and all this later. In fact, we can go to the surface editor and just drop the specularity on it and everything like that. In fact, we could just go ahead and just make it black if we wanted. That might make everybody's life easier. So now all we do is we're going to go into the surface editor, and this is where the image manipulation comes in. Is we're going to click on image, double click, and then we're going to load in that fan that we just made. We just took a picture of, and that was fan Y, this one right here. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and put this in there like that. And it can easily get messed up on some of this stuff, but you can only see this in, you got to be in the, for the animation to see the animation. You can see this right now, but it's kind of misleading. We're on the wrong projection, so we're going to project on the Y. We're looking down the Y axis. And then I'm going to go into VPR, and then I'm going to match my camera perspective here. And then hold on, let me back out just a little bit more, like that. And then I'll match my camera perspective again since I moved. And then I'll go into camera view. And this is the only view that you can actually see this rotation. Now on the rotation, we're going to go to the image here. You can't keyframe this manually. You can only make this happen through the graph editor. So we're just going to jump into the graph editor here. And there's already a keyframe there. And I don't know how fast we want this thing to go. You know, several hundred degrees. So maybe we'll go like here, put a keyframe there. We got right on 120. And of course you can ease these in and ease these out. I mean, that's completely up to you if you want to do that. I'm just trying to show you for illustration purposes. And if we hit play, we should be halfway there because it should start spinning. Now you see the whole background spinning, so I have to adjust that background space. I could actually black all this out, but there we got that. And then to make this really work, we just have to go back into the surface editor here, and then what we're going to do is right click copy and then paste. We got this. Then we hook this into the background color. Come here, and we're going to load in our alpha channel that we did, which is what this one. And then all we have to do is come here and click on the image and change the blending mode to multiply. And if we come in here, we've got, it should look like a fan spinning around. And there you go. It's an animated surface expression. It's easing in and easing out. I noticed that. So there's all this. So I believe that's our backdrop. So I think what we can do is just kill that. There we go. So now we just have that, and then we can just render this out as a single image. So the advantage of this would be it's not actually a 3D object. It's actually a rotating image. And then of course you could even, I believe, add a normal map to this, although it has some kind of lighting on it already. So anyway, this is just for fun. I did this as a challenge over something I saw in Unreal Engine. So I hope this is helpful. Take care, have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.